Hey guys, Jeremiah Davis here, CEO of Davis Thorpe and Associates, Business Funding Now. I'm here back with my Friday Live, and I have a special guest. Tarika Coney is back with us again. We tried to get her on a few weeks ago. We had some technical difficulties, so I thought to have her back. And she is a business credit expert. So without further ado, let me bring her in, and we'll get right into it.
Hey,
Hey, how you doing?
hey, how are you?
See, well, we got it right the first time this time. I was just telling the people that the last time, a few weeks ago, we tried this and had so many tech issues. So we thought it's best because the information that you have is so important. That every business owner needs to know, as well as all those who are starting out in business, especially right now during this pandemic. Thankfully, a lot of people are doing okay and are staying afloat in the entrepreneurs. Um, business credit is so essential during this time.
Mhm.
Um, so why don't you introduce yourself a little bit about your background, who are you, what you do, and then we'll jump into some questions.
Hey everyone, hey everyone, hey everyone, hey. I am Tarika Coney and I am known as the Biz Credit Expert. And what I do is I help small businesses get capital for their business. I own two companies, the Biz Credit Academy and also the Certified Business Credit Professional, where I teach small business owners how to help people in their community to be able to get business credit for their business. So I'm excited to be here to be able to answer any questions that you may have about your business or how to get business credit during this crazy pandemic that we are in currently right now.
Great, great, exactly, and that's why we partner together because business credit is a whole nother entity in itself. Um,
Mm-hmm,
and the most common thing we hear people say, "So I already got business credit," but really they got a card from their bank that they personally,
mm-hmm,
and think
mm-hmm,
business credit. That's not real, true business credit. So,
mm-hmm.
kind of just give us a couple. I know it can be expounded upon, but the basics of distinguishing business credit from personal credit.
Okay, so what you need to know that business credit and personal credit, they definitely run on two separate systems. Your business credit is going to be ran off of your EIN, and then your personal credit is going to be ran off of your social. That's I kind of call business credit like giving you a second chance at life. If you happen to have a business and you happen to ruin your personal credit, you can still have great business credit and still get loans and lines of credit for your business because they operate off of two separate systems. And what statistics show, about 45% of small business owners, like when they have applied for financing, get turned down more than once. And 23% don't even know why their application was denied. So that is why it's so important that we understand the value of business credit during this time. I feel like now a lot of people are understanding it more now about business credit than it was before because a lot of the stuff with the SBA was dealing with your business credit.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Business credit as well as sometimes with personal credit, but it can be keeping your doors open versus not keeping your doors open, having
Right.
that access to that additional streams of revenue or additional access to income, to money, to credit, to things like that.
Mhm.
Um, and what is the common misnomer about business credit is um, you can just apply for it and get it. What I'm getting at is how, people don't realize that it's a building process. So
definitely a building process.
explain that to us.
Well, to explain what business credit is, I always say well, my definition of what business credit is, to keep it short and sweet, is help your business from failing. The capital that you get, your business need capital. With the capital from your business, it is going to help your business from failing. That is the reason why statistics show that most business fail within 2 to 3 years of business, because they lack capital or lack money management. According to the SBA definition is a loan or a line of credit that a company extends to another company to buy goods or services. So with that being said, capital is the lifeline of your business. As we can see now, a lot of businesses can't keep their doors open without having that extra capital for their business. And now they're saying, well, why I never heard about this before, business credit? Because sometimes I feel like we was never taught about business credit. And just in my opinion, business credit was just really designed for major corporations. That's the reason why a lot of us small businesses possibly could suffer if things that does not get better with the pandemic currently right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. The things that I come across is, people saying that they have business credit, but I use the analogy of Walmart. Said Walmart couldn't have grown to its size on Sam Walton's personal credit. Okay? So he had to establish business credit, and now they mastered it. So, most of the products that are on the shelves, they pay for business credit, and we buy them before they get the invoices due. So they're paying their creditors off with our money. I mean, that's the perfect system to utilizing, business credit. But what are some of the small business owners types of business credit that they should have and utilize? Like, I know you worked on mine. I got like Wheel and Uline and some of those for office supplies. What are some other things like that a small business is essential for?
Well, the thing about it is you can have those, as I told you before, working with your business credit, you can have all those things, but if you don't have the foundation of your company built correctly, a lot of that stuff is not even going to matter. What you're going to end up doing is wasting a lot of money, because what's going to happen, the information is not going to report to the Business Credit Bureau. So having that is okay. You can have your Quill, you can have your strategic network solution, you can have your Sumo office supplies, you can have those accounts on there. But if the foundation from your Secretary of State is not properly set up correctly, and you are not having all the credibility factors that you need for your business, you're spending and wasting a lot of time, and you're wasting a lot of money. My thing is, most of the time that I'm supposed to be building people business credit, but a lot of times behind the scene, I'm fixing their company. I'm making sure that everything is correct. I'm making sure that I mentor them on what do they need for their business. So that is the starting point when you are in business, is making sure that all the legal structure, the business structure, you need to make sure that that is correct before you just go hop into ordering from vendors and stuff like that, because you're going to find yourself wasting a lot of money. And I see it happen a lot of time, wasting a lot of money.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of that most people don't know. Like having the office versus your virtual office or PO box, or having the phone numbers and listed correctly, a professional phone number, a professional email. People get denied credit based on those things, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So the thing about it is, you have to recognize that small business owners who understand their business credit scores are 41% more likely to be approved when they apply for business loans. That's the reason why we have these disparities when African Americans are not being approved for loans. When we have these things that we're not being able to prove because we don't understand our business credit scores. Business credit scores are different from your personal credit scores. Your personal credit scores are TransUnion, Experian, Equifax. On the business credit side of it, you still have two of the same ones. Your Experian, your IntelliScore, your Equifax Small Business. You have your Dun and Bradstreet, your Paydex score. You have your Credit Safe score, and then you have what is called your FICO SBSS score. And that is what the SBA was using when they were approving people for loans. We're not. Well, I wouldn't say using, but they did take a look at your business credit scores to possibly see if you will be approved or not. Even though I would say their regulations change. Some people will maybe I got approved. I don't have business credit score. That may be true because the federal government, the regulations was changing all the time. They started looking at scores. They stopped looking at scores. Now they're just giving money. Now they just so things that were changed. But the people that were in that batch, when they logged into their portal, on one side it was the business credit score, on one side it was your personal credit score, and with your FICO SBSS score, the minimum score is a 140 that they're looking for to pre-screen for you for your FICO SBS. But what they really want you to have at least a 160 to a 170 when it comes to your FICO SBS.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't hear nothing about that. But I have the expert building mine right now. So,
right.
Okay. Okay. So what can someone expect? Say they come to you, you teach them how to build a business credit, what have you. And then at the end, are they going to be able to go to a bank and just get a loan, or will they have, high limit credit cards in their business name? What is the end result that one can expect?
Right. That's a great question, Jermaine. Here's my take on it. My take is a lot of small business owners are not going to qualify for small business loans because a lot of times their business was not structured correctly at the time of them applying for those loans. So they're going to need to have that personal guarantee or that collateral to put up in order to qualify for that loan. My take is if you got to do all that, you might as well just apply for a personal loan at that point. So are you going to get loans? No. So you have to think back to 2008 when the financial crisis had started, and financial institutions and banks were trying to find ways to mitigate the risk to help small business owners. That is the reason why many online lenders entered into the marketplace to help these small businesses be able to get capital for their business that wouldn't necessarily qualify for traditional banking, from local banks. So what they have now is they have a plethora of online lenders that will get you the same amount of money as if you have went to a local bank with less qualifications. And I tell people that's the route that I would take, is an alternative funding route. You can get, and the thing that you want to focus on is getting lines of credit, because in loans, if you get a loan, you pay that loan off, whatever the terms that they say, you pay it off. And then with that paying off, you have to reapply again. Your situation may have changed when it's time for you to reapply. But with a line of credit, you pay that line of credit down. That line of credit is extended to you at least 24 to 48 hours. You can use that line of credit again. That's why I tell small business owners to focus on lines of credit. Focus on lines of credit, because that is where it's going to really help your business. You have to think about the NBA. Major corporations have lines of credit. NBA took out a $35 billion, I don't know the correct number, but a $35 billion extension against got an increase for their line of credit for their business. That's the same thing that I try to teach small business owners, is to get in with to focus on getting lines of credit for their business, because when instance like this, something happens like this again, it will be available to you. It is be hard to go into a bank and try to get a loan, and they're like looking like, well, what's your credit score? What's your personal credit score? Okay, we're tight on funding right now, and I don't think we really want to take that risk, because at the beginning of the pandemic, when they were giving out the EIDL and the PPP, a lot of banks were not giving it out to their customers because at first they didn't understand the program, or was like, we're not taking that risk on. So imagine being in a crisis and a bank saying that we're not going to help you. So that's why I say that it's easier to just go through the alternative financing route.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because that's a lot of my customers come to me for business funding, and I either redirect them to personal funding or alternative lending because they don't have all their ducks in a row to get traditional business funding. Business credit is one piece of it when a bank is looking at you to approve you for a large business loan. Even if it's $100,000, $200,000, $300,000. They want to see that you've been in business for a while, that your business is cash flow heavy, because your cash flow becomes your collateral when they're looking at your assets. And, I try to steer clients away from that asset-based lending, because they're not going to give you the 100% of the value of the asset. And if you miss a payment, you might lose your asset. So people avoid that. Some people say, well, I got a perfect business credit, but your company doesn't make any money.
Exactly. And that is the reason why it's so important for small business owners not to have their duck in a row, but also having business bank accounts. As I was reading comments and stuff online, as I try to continue to educate myself, I noticed a lot of small business owners do not have business bank accounts at all, and they're commingling their funds with their personal and with their business. That is a big no-no, because you're going to run into tax issues, and then you're going to run into a lot of other issues in your business commingling your funds. You need to get a business bank account. And how I was taught that your business truly doesn't start until you have a business bank account. And that's what lenders are using. They want to see the cash flow that is coming through your business bank account. They want to see they want to see how much money that is coming through that bank account in order for them to be able to take a risk on you to say, hey, I'm going to offer you this credit line. And that's the reason why I saw so many people like going through the PPP, the EIDL, like their money was getting returned because it was going through a personal bank account. You have a business. Everything needs to be separated. Your personal from your business needs to be separated. Everything has to be completely different. And I just want to continue to educate people for them to understand the importance of making sure that your business is set up correctly. All the other stuff will come along, but if you make sure that the foundation of your company is set up correctly, it'll stand on its own. And you want to prepare yourself. If you have a good company that is making money currently right now, the whole goal is for you to be able to work outside that business to eventually to get it to where it's at and sell it and go do and keep repeat and rinse that same type of cycle. But a lot of times we just get into business, we make all this money, and we don't think about, oh crap, is my business set up correctly? Oh crap, I can potentially sell this company for more and go start a whole new company. I think, don't quote me correctly, but I think with the Off-White brand, I think it's the Off-White brand, I think they did something like that. He sold the company, but when he sold the company, he still had the trademark for the company, so he still owned the company. So that's the things that we want to do, is we want to make sure that we have our stuff that is in place for our business.
Yeah, you brought up something that we recently talked about that educated me on some things about this trademark. Yeah, give us some tips on how important is that, especially in your business structure alone. I don't know how much it ties into your business credit, but just that information that you gave to share with me, I want to share with our audience as well.
Well, I think I'm not a trademark attorney or anything, and I always want to speak from my experience. Currently, right now, I'm in a fight with Entrepreneur Media. I don't know if a lot of people knew that you cannot use the word entrepreneur at all. You cannot use the word entrepreneur, and you will get sued. So we're constantly in the back and forth. I have a lawyer, I have my people on it, but that is a rookie mistake that I made that I did not know. You can use the thing about it is if you use the word, it's fine, but when you go to trademark it, that's when it becomes an issue. So it's the how it relates to your business is because if you're building a brand and somebody sees you building that brand and they just say, hey, I'm going to go trademark it, you owe them everything because now that is federally their company. And it's really hard for them to be able to overturn that. Could it happen? Yes. But what's going to happen is you're going to spend a lot of money on attorneys and things like that. So that goes back to the foundation of your company, making sure that you have the foundation of your company set up correctly because you do not want to build a brand that somebody may own or somebody has. You want to secure your brand. One of my trademark attorney that I highly recommend, her name is Rosina Pierce. She goes by the Biz Lawyer on Instagram. She is highly sought. I will highly recommend her to everything. She handles all my business affairs and stuff like that. But it's very important that you understand the ownership. Ownership is everything when it comes to business. As I'm hearing things in the news that with this pandemic, it has caused a lot of people to go crazy mentally, physically, and everything else because the money is not flowing like it was before. That is the reason why we have to continue to educate people to own our ish. Own it. Own it. Spend that extra money to own your name. Because we don't own it, and that's just like when we're born. As people would say, we're born to the state. You know what I mean? We're born to the state until paternity is established between two parents. So that's just the same thing. Also, you want to make sure that we are more focused on ownership than the fancy logos, than the inventory, the fancy cars, and everything else, because all that can be taken from you in a moment.
Right. And one thing reason I wanted to bring that up is because I've seen the article about Nick Cannon now that he doesn't own the trademark.
Mm-hmm.
He, so Viacom fired him, but he created the show and he didn't own the show. So that's on a larger scale, but even on a smaller scale, I do have friends that have had a name of their business for years, and someone else came in, wanted to use that name and trademarked it, and then they battle of their life trying to protect what they created. So that's why that's important. So back to the foundation, because that's the beginning of everything, right? That's the be all. What are some of the two or three foundational issues that every business owner should have?
Making sure, if we're talking about the foundation, and making sure that on your Secretary of State that you have a business address on your Secretary of State. Remember, this is a business. I know a lot of people go back and forth. Well, I have a home-based business and I use my home for my business. That's fine that you do. Get your virtual address. There's a lot of companies that offer virtual addresses for that reason. You do not want to use a PO box. You do not want to use UPS or FedEx. You do not want to use iPostal because I learned my experience for using iPostal. Some people slip through the cracks and it works fine for them. I can only speak from my experiences, and with my clients, it was hard for them to get through. They were getting denied for things in my earlier stages, and I figured out it was iPostal because iPostal is listed as a mailer, UPS or something like that. Trying to think. Type of entity of an address. So everything is different from everybody has different experience. Some people may have great experience. A lot of my client got denied for their DUNS number because it said that the address was not verifiable. Then that was a rookie mistake that I made, that I had to pay for them to get a new address. Perfectly fine. We all learn in the beginning, but that's the same thing that I try to tell people is make sure that you have a business address. Make sure that you have or a virtual address. Make sure that you have a email address. An email address is so important. Make sure that you're having business telephone number. That is so important because that is what lenders are looking for. They did not create this stuff just to be creating it. Those are things that can get you denied for financing for your business because it's not structured properly. Understanding why you filed for LLC versus an INC. You need to understand what you need to weigh your odds. You want to file your entity to based on the level of risk for your business. So you have to be able to understand that. Don't just go file an LLC because that's the stigma of people telling you to file an LLC. Why haven't you looked into a corporation for your business? Just because the word corporation does not mean that it's just something huge. And a lot of corporations get a lot of tax breaks. That's something that it make it happen for your business. So you just want to be able to understand your business structure and what you're doing, because sometimes at the end of the day, you start owing more money than if you would have just did it right in the beginning. You wouldn't owe all this money now.
Yeah, those are very good points, because I from my experience, I had iPostal, and when I came to start building business credit, I couldn't use it no more. I had to go get a real virtual office. And cool, 'cause I go down there, it's downtown Nashville. I go down there, I ship my stuff there, and it's a little bit more costly, but it makes me look better on paper. My business looks like it's downtown Nashville. It comes, its benefits. As well as, sorry?
Business costs.
Yes. As well as, I chose, I did my research and asked enough people, and I set all my business up as S corporations and not LLCs because of the tax benefits. And my accountants are like, "Yep, this is the way to do it." And so, so that's some great stuff. That's exactly the type of stuff we need, and especially now, if you're still in business and you're still able to operate, and you need these things, now's the time to get them, to build them. So not only when the pandemic is over, but you'll be a better place going forward to grow your business. I mean, that's the whole point, right? We get in business to provide for our families, to give us extra freedom. But if you don't have access to these resources, you're not going to get that. We all know business owners who work 7 days a week, 10, 12 hours a day. And, that's not what they had envisioned business. We have a question. Somebody is asking, can you speak on starting an LLC for my 17-year-old daughter? I don't know if we just covered that, but what do you have?
Well, here's the thing. Since she's 17, as I've read and researched some things, she may run into a lot of factors because she's not 18 years of age. Those may be some factors, so you may have to be on that company with her. So you want to keep that in mind. That's not my expert area on things. I don't like really speaking about it, but it's fine. But you have to understand, since she's 17, it's just going to run into a lot of issues because you're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to pay for things. You know what I mean? If you're 17, unless she has her own stuff. But you're probably gonna have to go on that business with her, because a lot of things has age requirements. You're putting your date of birth and things in there like that. So then when she turns 18, you can relinquish everything over to her.
Yeah, and it might be better to start an S corp with you and her on there.
Right.
You can run the company, and you can be that resource for when things building credit. Or accessing different resources to build that.
Right. Because most of the time she may not be, depending on the banks, may not be able to open a business bank account. You can still set the company up for her, everything, whatever she wants to do, put it in her name and whatever name she wants. How you're going to have to go on that Secretary of State with her. Issues that I have ran into when I had my daughter on my Secretary of State, they're like, well, who is this person? They need to be here with you to open this business bank account. When I'm like, she's only a 9-year-old. And they're like, no, you can't open an account. So what I had to learn is go take her off, go open the business bank account, and then put her back on. So those are the things that you learn throughout business and stuff like that. So that's where the route you may have to go.
Yeah, That's something I didn't know either. That's very good. So, because we see a lot of people trying to, there's a big tax break for putting having your kids on as a employee of your business. You can pay them so much money without paying taxes on it. But this is not that show. This is not that conversation. We're not tax experts, but that could be a topic for another day. We're open to any more questions. If any of our viewers got any questions about business credit, I do want to plug Jerika. Listen, if you want to get business credit certified, she is the person that can certify you, so you can provide business credit for your clients. Okay, and where can they go and get more information or get in contact with you if they want to get certified for business credit?
You can go to my website. It's www.thecbcp.com. But right now we're currently full, and I'm not accepting new clients at this time. But yeah,
that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I have an LLC. Can I change it to an S corp?
Yes. No? Yes. If you have an LLC, you can transition it to an S corp. You will have to file form 25. I always get it mixed up. 2553. Form 2553. I think that is correct. But yeah, you'll file that form. It may be what's outside of your tax period, because when you fill out the form, you have to put a reason why you did not file your S corp within the 75 days, because you're giving 75 days within your tax period to transition to an S corp. So you're basically going to have to explain to them why you didn't file your S corp during that time. What I have been told from my accountant is sometimes they'll kind of take the excuse of you didn't know what the S corp was, and you didn't know the meaning of an S corp, and which is true. You didn't understand the value of an S corp. You didn't understand how it worked with your business, and so you want to make sure that you let them know and document why they should put your business in an S corp. Because if you're LLC, you just know the tax, you're going to get taxed. That self-employment tax that is going to be on there is going to hit you very hard. So it's a lot to just sit down with an accountant or a CPA. And it doesn't have to be an accountant or a CPA. That's just the coin term that everybody know. If you can sit down with somebody that is well versed in business taxes, it works just as fine. But find somebody that is well versed in your business taxes to tell you how everything is not a write-off. Everybody thinks everything is a write-off. Everything is not a write-off. With how the economy is going now, everything is not going to qualify for a write-off. So just make sure that you get with somebody that's very knowledgeable about business taxes. And depending on your business taxes, you're not filing a Schedule C. You're going to be filing, depending if you're going to have an S corp, you're going to be filing a business tax return on a 1120S or 1120. So you have to make sure, don't go to just because your homegirl does taxes, your homeboy does taxes. No, they should not be filing you on a Schedule C, depending on your legal structure. You should be either filing an 1120 or an 1120S for S corp. And a lot of people don't know that, and I hate when people be like, oh, I pay all this money in taxes. You pay all this money in taxes, you need a new tax person to make sure they get your tax liability down, because you shouldn't be paying unless you are a $10 million company and you're paying $20,000. Like, that doesn't even logically sound right. Get you with a good accountant or a CPA that know it, or a business tax person to make sure that your taxes are together, because people just be saying stuff and I'll be like, that don't even sound right. Like, why are you paying all that money in taxes? No, unless you haven't filed taxes in years and it's all built up. But you should be getting with somebody that's going to bring your tax liability down.
Exactly. We have another question. What's the best way to register multiple LLCs under an umbrella company?
Well, I'm speaking from my personal opinion. I wouldn't recommend that, depending on what the level of risk of your company. You wouldn't want to file an LLC and you're a pharmaceutical company. You know what I mean? You will want each business to have their own entity. That's what I recommend. Now, if it's a business that's saying, hey, your parent company is, I don't know, Lisa's Enterprise, and then underneath it you have Lisa's Sewing. That's not so much of a high risk. You can put that underneath your LLC. But if you have Lisa Enterprise and then you have Lisa Nail Salon and you have Lisa whatever, you will most likely will probably want to do those as separate entities. Because remember, if there are LLCs or there are DBA underneath, you lose one, you lose all of them if they're all under one LLC. So you have to be mindful of that. But once again, I'm not a tax expert. I'm only talking from what I know and what I've been told. So that's why I always tell you to always follow up with somebody that's a little bit more knowledgeable of it.
Yeah, and I'll actually co-sign that because I have multiple companies. Each one is a separate S corp, separate bank account, and all those things. Even though some of them are just on the shelf for appearances, because I haven't really invested and built them up yet, but I plan to. But I didn't want to get them intermingled with my main business.
Right.
So
let's talk about that really quick. Mm-hmm. If you have a concept or an idea for a business and you may not have the funds currently right now to go full-fledged in a business, I highly recommend that you go ahead and register that business. Because if you go ahead and register the business and you're not using it yet, when it's time for you to use that business, you will already be sitting on a year, 2 years on that business. So when it's time for you to build business credit, it's not like you're going to be a brand new company. It's going to be a lot easier and a lot faster for you to be able to build the business credit. So I encourage you, maybe you can't run a full-fledged business right now, but if you have something, go ahead and register that business. Get at least the foundation down pat, so when you are ready to use that business, everything will already be together. And we don't know how our full-time jobs are going to go. We don't know how that. If you go ahead and do stuff now, by the time if you have to leave, I already have all my stuff together. All I got to do is hop in the game. All I got to do is hop in the game and start working my business. So a lot of us don't know that, but that's what I would just be my personal opinion. I would suggest you to do that. At least if you have, by the time, if you happen to leave your full-time job, even if you got 6 months, it's going to look a lot better than you applied yesterday for that business.
Let me ask you a question. How about non-for-profits and business credit? Can non-profits build business credit?
Nonprofits can build them because they're just like a regular corporation. They can build business credit for nonprofits. I highly recommend that. Nonprofits are a good way to get your foot into the door with a lot of things. If you, like I say, if you feel like you want to run a nonprofit, go ahead and get that set up for your business. It's very important. Nonprofits are a way to go also.
All right, yeah, because I've heard a lot of churches, kind of know that they can apply for the PPP or the EIDL, as well as access to other things. But, and then, from my point of view, from a lender, from a broker, it's very select financial institutions that are willing to lend to nonprofits. So for a nonprofit to have that business credit established, it can just give you access to more, like I said, credit, as well as if you have a well-established business credit profile, it could help you in getting some loans too that normally are not available for nonprofits. So
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And I think one more thing that I think a lot of people need to know about is like how business credit plays a role. Like one thing that I've learned through this implementation of the PPP, the EIDL, that business credit still matters. In the midst of this crisis, it still matters. And regardless of whether you're applying for the SBA or any type of small business financing, your business credit profile matters. And this is the foundation of demonstrating your credit worthiness. So I tell everybody now is to get your ish together. We still got hurricane season here in Florida, so we don't know. The government's running out of funding. A lot of us, you know what I mean? So we have to make sure that we are preparing now for later and preparing now for next year, because a lot of people that pulled a lot of this money out are not going to get tax returns next year and not going to get that extra funding that they need next year. It may not be available. So now is the time now to build it, because companies are taking risks on people and extending offers to people for their business currently now that wasn't able to get it months ago. So we need to take advantage of the resources and stuff that we have currently right now.
Right. And then from a lending point, for business funding now, personal credit, having good personal credit as a business owner and business credit and cash flow, all those things have to work in conjunction to get access to more traditional low interest business loans. So you definitely need to focus on all those things. Get your business credit, build it, get your personal credit right. And if you just want to start out a business, you can do all these simultaneously if you plug into the right people.
Right.
That's why I definitely wanted to have you back on, because you and I know that most businesses out here don't have any idea what business credit is and don't have business credit. Some of these businesses have been in, they might be in business for 20, 30 years and still never established business credit.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, my company is a Black owned company. So it's just very important that we are out here educating the masses on business and doing business correctly, because it's not being taught a lot. Personal credit is out there. And there's still, some of us have taken risks on our personal credit to get where we need to be in our business. I'm the one to say I have. I went into $40,000 of credit in debt to get to where I have a 6-figure business currently right now. So it just goes into how in business you have to understand it takes a lot of risk and it takes a lot of money and it takes a lot of time away from your family. But when you get your business to where you're at, when you look back and you be like, dang, I am glad I took that risk. What if I wouldn't have had spent that and spent it on something else? And that's how I look at business currently right now is, why go spend it on this? You can do whatever you want to do with your money. I'm just speaking from my experience. Why go spend it on this when I could put it back into my business or go buy some property or something that is going to give me an investment that is going to be able to leave generational wealth to my family. So it just depends on how you look at things. Being in business is wonderful. It gives you flexibility. It allows you to use your creativity that you have. And things like that, and put people in a position to win. You just also have to make sure, if I'm going to put other people in position to win, that I need to also make sure that my own issues together also.
Absolutely. It's dedication and hard work.
It definitely does.
So you have a mission statement that you want to share? I mean, it's almost like ministry, but because that's what it's starting to feel like. It's like we're trying to help people get this information to the right people. Because at the end of the day, the economy, your whole life is dictated by your finances, freedom you have. What kind of access do you have from anywhere from schools to neighborhoods to all the resources, travel, what have you. And I just think that this is so important that a lot of entrepreneurs in our circle or that come to us looking for this type of information. What is your mission, your goal? What's your why?
My why is educating. A simple mission statement is get your business ish together. Get it together, because I see so many companies with fancy logos. I'm worried about inventory. I'm worried about this. Am I ready to launch? Just launch the ish. Just launch it. I can't tell you how many times in the midst a year from this date, one of my clients, Bunny Ortiz, I had her as a student as a student in my course. Can I tell you that I ended up finding my grandmother dead in her home, and I don't know what it was. I literally came back and everything was erased on my computer. Everything was erased. I literally, to the point where I have literally rebuilt after a year. But what if I always tell myself, well, what if I would have gave up? What if I would have said, okay, I don't want to do this anymore because of this? I always tell people to get out there and just do it. You're going to mess up. You're going to make mistakes. That's how I learned a lot of things, because mistakes that I have made in my business. That is the reason why I mentor and coach other people, so that they don't have to make their mistakes, like being in the midst of a lawsuit with Entrepreneur Media and stuff like that. That's mistakes that you don't have to make now, because I did. Because I would take the grunt of that. I may have to just switch some things up. That's perfectly fine. I haven't invested that much money, so it really doesn't matter. But now somebody may know that, hey, I can't use the word entrepreneur and try to trademark it within a name. You can't use it at all. You can't use bizpreneur. You can't use blackpreneur. You can't use none of that, because they're going to come after you and they're going to sue you. They're going to sue you. So it's just stuff like that that you just have to know. You're going to spend a lot of money with attorneys and things like that. So those are the type of gems that you will want to know within your business. I just tell people to get out there. Main thing is just get out there and do it. Mess it up as bad as you can. Get back up. Research the information. Learn from yourself. And things like that, and don't wait for somebody to hold your hand. I think a lot of times we get into business and we want people to hold our hand just because they paid us to do something. We want them to hold our hand through the process. But what did you do? What steps did you take? Did you go out and do anything? So that you just have to be able to recognize that and make sure that if this is going to be my livelihood and I am stepping away and I want to step away from my full-time job, I need to make sure that I get my business ish together, and I need to make sure that everything is good to go for my business. Will my business to be able to survive? I want to make sure that all of that is together.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you for being on the show today. And listen, you guys, Davis Thorpe and Associates, we're a consulting firm, and we offer coaching, consulting for startups and small business owners. We offer the business credit, we offer the funding, all these things to help. And that's what my mission is to help as many people become entrepreneurs as want to. Because I'm not going to do it for you, but I'm going to help you with the roadmap. I'm going to help you figure out how to get there. And that's why I team up with people like Tarika and others, so we can collectively use these resources to change our environment, change our community, for the betterment of yourself and your family. So that's what our mission is. And it's a lack of knowledge. We do have a lack of knowledge in our community about these types of things, but not anymore. We have the right people in the right place. And she's also a part of the coaching staff of HUSH as well, which is a conglomerate of coaches that come together and help people build their business as well. So you have a ton of resources. You can know how to get a hold of her. You know how to get a hold of me. Go to businessfundingnow.com or davisthorpe.com. And then your website is?
And if everybody hop on late, I am Tarika Coney. I am known as a biz credit expert. My website is www.THEC as in cat, B as in boy, C as in cat, P as in Paul.com. Or you can go to www.bizcreditacademy.com, and you can follow me on Instagram as Business Credit Expert with the X with the black face, number 2 there. And if you want to be part of a community that offers free resources for you, I highly recommend you join the HUSH group community. I think that's what it's called. It's HUSH HUSH group. I think with that group, with Derek Harper and all the other people, Elle, Brandy, Andre, Brandon, all those people in there are going to provide you with so many resources for your business, and also being able to get that business funding for your business going through Jeremiah and things like that. That is so important. Don't have people out here saying that you're not educated on things. I've just provided you with free resources so that you can go learn that information yourself. The Hush Group is going to provide you with information for your personal credit and business credit, and going to align you with coaches that are well seasoned into the game. So that's my drift. Once again, I am Tarika Coney, and I am known as a biz credit expert.
All right. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Tune in next week where we'll have a great guest. I'm not going to give it away now, but you'll see it on my social media. But he's he's hilarious. He's hilarious, and he is a business owner, and he has another great aspect that you need to know. All business owners need to know, though, if you're in business or you're trying to start a business. I'm Jeremiah Davis. This is Business Funding Now. Thank you. See you next week.